Hello, Internet people. Byron D0 here, and I just got back from one of the first films of the superhero season for 2016, Deadpool! And all I gotta say is the hype is real. Like, I'm not even kidding. This movie had a hype train a mile wide. But I saw it, I liked it, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give you my five major thoughts on Deadpool, the movie. Let's go with number 5. Colossus. This is honestly the best use of Colossus in any non-Marvel, or in any superhero film. Like, if you've seen the previous X-Men films, Colossus has been nothing more than a bit character. You know, he comes in, he crushes things, he don't speak. That's about it. He had a couple of lines in X3, but we don't talk about X3. But yes, I mean, granted, his character was all CG, but it was well acted, and I really hope this is like a wake-up call for Bryan Singer to actually utilize the character of Colossus more in future X-Men films, because Colossus is a very complex character. He's been done bare justice in the comics for years and years on end. Even in the cartoons, he's been given more credit. But somehow Bryan Singer just doesn't care about him, and what are you gonna do? But let's go on to my fourth thought. Thought number 4 is there are plenty of nice Easter eggs that are kind of hard to miss. For example, this isn't really a spoiler, but the opening scene is one of those frozen frame shots, and there are all kinds of things flying through the air. One of the little Easter eggs they have that is a Starbucks cup with the name Rob L on it. And for those of you in the know, Rob L is Rob Liefeld. Rob Liefeld is one of the people responsible for the creation of Deadpool as a character in the 90s. He's very infamous in the comic industry, but let's give the devil his due. Rob Liefeld did create Deadpool, and he is one of the biggest comic book characters in the world. But more about Rob Liefeld later. Other than that, I mean, the Easter eggs were there for days. There were references to that other X-Men movie that we don't like to talk about, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a second thinking about it. But there were a couple there, and I can't really say too much about those without spoiling them, except there was a shot of the quote-unquote Deadpool figure from X-Men Origins, and it's just like a glancing shot, and then it's gone. But yeah, little things like that. There are plenty more. And I mean, if I can't talk about the Easter eggs without spoiling it for you, so I'm not going to say any more about it. Thought number 3. It was very well paced. Like, the problem with a lot of licensed property films and superhero films from the past, not all of them, but certain ones like Man of Steel, is the pacing. The pacing just goes all over the place. It's either too much going on, a lack of direction with the pacing, or any other thing that I can't seem to think of off the top of my head. But I digress. Deadpool like was going breakneck speed from the jump off. Like, the action was there from the very beginning, and there wasn't too much focus on the origin story. It's like, here's the world, here's how it came to be. Let's go on with the movie story, and it worked. And I really hope that a lot of future action films learn from this, not just superhero films. And number 2, it's the best thing that Rob Liefeld has ever had his name attached to. Like I said before, Rob Liefeld is kind of Deadpool's daddy. He's a man that's been pretty infamous in the comic industry for a number of years due to his lack of understanding of human anatomy when drawing characters, his outspoken nature on certain things in the industry, and yeah, just the fact that he's gotten so big even though he has no artistic training, and he prides himself in that apparently. But he definitely was a champion for this film. Like, his production company was pushing this to no end, even for that little sample of Deadpool we saw a few years ago. So, Mr. Liefeld, I don't say this very often, but thank you. And my number one thought: there was a lot of love put into this film. Like, seriously, everyone in this project seemed like they were having so much fun. I mean, I know Ryan Reynolds was, because along with Rob Liefeld, he's been championing for a decent Deadpool movie for years. Even in character, he makes jokes about it. But yeah, and it works. Ryan Reynolds is a huge nerd. A lot of people don't seem to realize that, but he is, and he knows this stuff very, very well. And that's what made the character so much fun to watch on screen. The fight scenes were awesome. The dirty jokes were there in no short supply. And I don't think I can say much more about that without sounding like a repetitive fanboy. But needless to say, I highly recommend Deadpool to anyone who is of age and is a fan of the Merc with the Mouth. Otherwise, that's all I gotta say. This is Byron D0.